yourself like me, though you know it's not what you need. I wonder if you feel like I do, doing all you can to be true. Ooh, it's not hard to get lost, at least not for me. I've certainly found. Have you waked to a season changed? Did a moment coming now rearrange? I wonder if you'd say that you're the same, doing all you can to keep sane. Ooh, it's not hard to get lost, at least not for me.
Exactly. It's easy to get lost, not only in life, but also in kayaking. And that's exactly what happened to me yesterday. And it was the big mistake. But we'll get back to that. I've had 6 days of headwinds, choppy water, and sea conditions that I've never experienced before. We're talking about the rise and the fall of tides. What a challenge. Right now, I'm in Riviera du Loup, and I'm staying at the summer cottage that belongs to André and his wife. And that's a story we're going to get to, because it's really interesting. But anyways, let's get to day 38.
I've certainly found. Have you walked your time in a bind, not knowing how to put the past behind? I heard that if you stare, man, you could go blind. But is there something still there to find? It's not hard to get lost, at least not for me.
Suddenly it started raining outside. On day 38, I paddled from Baie des Sables to Saint-Flavie. I left at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have a feeling that Gilles was a bit sad to see me go. We took our last picture on the beach, and I wondered what was going through his mind. Anyways, I paddled 26 kilometers, and as I was setting up my tent, along came Nicholas and Marie, and we had a great little talk about what I was doing, etc., etc. And they were camping in a white van, just staying with family. And they went their way, and after a while I was finished, eating and putting up my tent, and it was dark, and I had my light on, and I was just reading, and I heard a car pull up, and I quickly turned off my light because I really didn't want anybody to know I was there. Not that it was illegal or anything. But then I heard Mark, and then comes Nicholas and Marie back with 2 other family members. They just wanted to talk to me, and they brought with them some date oatmeal cake, and it brought back memories of my mom, who passed away in February, about her baking, and she used to make this herself. So it was a special moment.
But is there something still there to find? It's not hard to get lost, at least not for me. I've certainly.
On day 39, it was a big day. I paddled some close to 57 kilometers. But what made me accomplish so much was that the fishermen woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, because they were putting out their fishing vessel on high tide. And I could hear them speaking French. And so anyways, what happened is that they forced me to have a quick start. thank you for that. From Saint Flavie, so I paddled halfway, around 25 kilometers, to a place called Saint Luc. Paddled further to Rimouski. I have left there later in the day and paddled to the outskirts of Bic, the national park. There I found a beach that was recommended to me by a guy in a sailboat in the harbor at Rimouski, and it was a beautiful place. On day 40, I didn't quite get as far as I wanted to. In fact, I only managed 11 kilometers, which for me, in Norwegian is called the nederlag. In English, I guess that would be a disappointment. But anyways, I paddled to the Bic, the national park, and to get around, you've got to go around this place called Cape La Orignal. Didn't say it right, but who cares? I couldn't do it. I tried to paddle further, but on the other side, over there, it's just impossible. So I had to paddle into the beach and drag my kayak through some mud, and bang, then comes the warden. No, you can't be here. No. And then, thank goodness that these people would translate for me. But I said, it's impossible for me to leave because I can't. The wind is too strong. So eventually, the guy he was a nice guy, and he wrote me out a certificate of safety, allowing me to stay where I was until the winds died down and I could depart. The winds didn't die down, and I ended up staying behind a cottage that's not in use in a gazebo under. So I had a great night. I got up 4 o'clock in the morning to make a beeline to the next place, and it still was a windy day, but I just had to move forward.
So have you set a flame to your disguise, known only to show your eyes? And if you hear me,
well, day 41. I paddled from the Bic Provincial Park around 20 kilometers. It's been just headwind the whole way, but the back was pretty painful, so I stopped, and it's kind of sputtering a bit with rain, but I found a little cave, a place to make a fire, and it's warm under here. When the tide starts coming in, I should have the current with me and possibly do another 20k. Kind of cozy here, actually. Got the porridge made, and it's warm, and I could even fall asleep, I'm quite sure. But I'm on my way to I don't know how to pronounce it as usual, but tres pistoler, like I want to say 3 pistols, but I know that that's not the French pronunciation. I paddled further, and I ended up on a beach. I think it was close to a place called Saint Simon, and then a lady came down after a while, and she brought me some pecan pie and some fresh raspberries. And yeah, Sonia, you're a nice lady, and I appreciate you just reaching out to me. So that was beach with raspberries and pecan pie. That's not too often that you get that, like on a random visit. The 31st of July is just about 2 months after I started paddling from Halifax. I left Saint Simon around 8 o'clock in the morning. I only got as far as like 11 kilometers. And I was really tired and the wind was coming up. And I was approaching an island. And the island, I think it has the word amour in it. So I think this has got to be the island of love. And anyways, I saw two people on the beach. And I kayaked up and I said, do you mind if I rest here for a while? And they said, no, yeah, no problem, come up. We had a great talk, and I ate some porridge in their house. And it's basically an island, their own island in the family, and they live kind of off grid in the summertime and have their propane and they have water, and it's a really, really beautiful place, the island of love. Sam and Sophie gave me a great evening, and I'm so thankful for their hospitality. And I hope they can visit me in Norway, like all the people I've met. But just don't come at once, okay?
It's not hard to get lost, at least not for me. I've certainly found.
Day 43 was the day of my big mistake. Now, my friend Frederick in Quebec City, he's been assisting me with some information. A while back, he sent me a PDF, like 48 pages, that I could read to help me through the St. Lawrence. But that was a bit too much reading for me. Anyways, a couple days ago, he sent me a fisherman's map, which clearly outlines the depths of the water. And in certain places in the St. Lawrence, as I approach Quebec City, there are places that are going to be so low, and there's going to be no water in low tide. I guess I didn't time this right, but you have to paddle when you paddle. I'm going between two islands, and it's really blowing, and the tide is out. So I looked at this app very carefully, and I set out from the island of love on my journey, hoping for the best. This was all water, high tide. I just didn't have enough to go on, and I should have went to the right hand side of that island. I know, I'm just gonna go over here to that and just have a good break for around 5 hours, and then just paddle further on high tide. I calculated the time that I needed to get through two specific places that are extremely low, and if you get low, you're just going to get mud, and there's nothing you can do but just sit there until the tide comes back in. I made it through the first place, but I had a lot of headwind, and instead of paddling 6 kilometers an hour, I paddled 2. So that means I was behind my schedule. I eventually got through the one place. I got to the one place I knew would be a difficulty, and I'm looking at it, I see water, it looks great, so I just paddle. And I paddle, and suddenly I'm hitting weeds, and every stroke I take, weeds are flying up and into the air, and it's getting really frustrating. And then I hit mud. I'm too late, the tide is too low. This is a big mistake. What do? To the right is the island. It's an island called Ilvart, and I was at a place called adjacent to a place called Notre Dame and land, and I just couldn't get to Notre Dame. There's no way, it was too far. But I looked to my left, and there was a rock pier jutting out from the land, which used to be a long time ago, a place where fishermen could dock their boats, and there was, fishing business there. So anyways, I ended up taking all my stuff out of the kayak, the heavy stuff, and I transported, 100 meters, go back, and take my kayak, transport it 100 meters, do the same thing again 3 times, and I get to the rock pier, which was really nice. I waited 5 hours until the tide came. But waiting those 5 hours was really interesting because along came 2 bicyclists called Andre and Maurice. And I had a nice chat with them, and they seemed really friendly. And, we chatted for maybe a half an hour or so, and then they, bicycled further, and I just waited for the tide to come in slowly, patiently, and I had a chance to rest and sleep and make some food and do all these things that I'm really interested in these days. Sleep, food, sleep, food. I think I eat around 3 meals a day. The tide came in, and I paddle further to Riviera du Loup. I want to make this marina here. I want to make it there. And I'm paddling, and sure enough, the sun sets, and by the time I get to the marina, it's dark. I come around the bend into the marina, and there's a light that's kind of flashing, and there's a lady beside this light, and anyways, I go up and I said, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" He says, "Yes, a bit." Then we started talking, and eventually Sylvie and her partner Daniel, they assisted me to get my kayak onto the pier. While we were doing this, suddenly a man appears, and he's got a flashlight. And I thought, okay, this guy has to be the marina watch guard. And I look at him, and he uses my name, Mark. And I'm thinking, what? And he says, it's Andre. Oh, yeah, because I didn't recognize him, his bicycle helmet, and, I'd met him and his wife previously on the same day. And they have a little cottage on the waterfront, and Maurice had seen me paddle by, so he came to the marina to see if he could help. And wow, what a blessing. Really, I'm thankful. It's dark. I didn't know where I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do. I came in too late. I like to stop at 5 o'clock. But anyways, I ended up coming back to the cottage and was able to sleep in this really nice camping van and utilize this day to catch up on the films. And early this morning, I met with Danielle, and we had a cup of coffee and a small breakfast together. We were able to talk and just discuss life, which is really important. And we're talking about reversing the bad, and we need to let go of the past, and we need to concentrate on what's ahead of us, what's before us. And sometimes that's difficult to do. Even in my life, I'm caught by things that I've done, or problems, or trying to be someone who I'm not. But we just need to let the past go and concentrate on today and move forward. It was a very, very good discussion. So here I am today in Riviera du Loup, enjoying the rain, and Andre and Maurice, very nice people.
It's not hard to get lost, at least not for me.
Okay, back to the question. Where do I sleep? Good question. It's not the best camping place, but here, you can take a look. Here we go. I wouldn't exactly say that it's sexy, but I've already prepared a bed for my tent. Now, the positive thing with this campsite is that it has a boat ramp, which is a lot easier than, for example, if we go over here and you take a look down there, you're going to see that the tide is really out. And basically, I've got no place to put my kayak up. So the question is, how far will the tide come in today? And that's a big clump of seagrass there. And there's some other lines of seagrass here. So I think I'm good up there, and I'm kind of private in my own little world. Basically, I sleep on the beach in my tent, or I sleep in houses or cottages, and people provide a place for me to lodge. I sleep in campsites. I've only done it twice. I sleep wherever I can find a safe place.